From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Altaji. It's Thursday, June 5th. Here are today's headlines. Aid distribution points run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation are set to reopen today following a temporary closure yesterday. The decision to close followed 3 days of chaos and bloodshed at the sites, where Israeli troops were accused of firing on civilians. In a statement on Facebook, the organization said the sites would be closed for, quote, renovation, reorganization, and efficiency improvement work, unquote. The foundation began its operations last week after Israel eased a blockade on Gaza that had prevented aid from entering for over 2 months. But the group's first week of work has been marred by violence and criticism. Just a day before it started operations, its head resigned, citing an inability to carry out operations in line with international humanitarian standards. At least 27 Palestinians were killed waiting for aid at a distribution center in the southern city of Rafah on Tuesday, according to Gazan authorities. On Sunday, 31 people were killed in a similar incident near a site run by the foundation. 3 more were killed on Monday. Meanwhile, the Trump administration said it has doubt over claims of shootings near the aid site. At a White House press briefing, the National's Jihan Abdullah posed this question to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
There are now reports that Israeli forces are firing on Palestinians trying to get aid from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Up to 20 people, according to the Red Cross, have arrived to the hospital that they've set up with gunshot wounds, have died from them. Is this administration aware of these? And I mean, what is being done to address this situation?
The administration is aware of those reports, and we are currently looking into the veracity of them because, unfortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with total truth. We like to look into it when they speak.
There's a new rift in Israel that's threatening to collapse Benjamin Netanyahu's government. Ultra-Orthodox leaders in Israel have reportedly ordered politicians in the United Torah Judaism party to withdraw from the government over compulsory military service. The party is part of Netanyahu's far-right coalition government. Its members are ultra-Orthodox Jews who've historically been exempt from military service in Israel on a religious basis. But that changed in October 2023 after the Hamas attack on southern Israel and the start of Israel's war in Gaza. Now, the community has grown frustrated at a lack of progress on legislation that would exempt its young men from the draft, and opposition could put forth a bill to dissolve the parliament. The National's Thomas Helm reports from Jerusalem.
Because of the way Israel's political system works, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is a coalition, much like all previous governments. In his case, key political partners include the ultra-Orthodox, who are made up of 2 main parties. There's one called United Torah Judaism, and then there's also the Shas party. What's most dangerous for Mr. Netanyahu is that if UTJ leaves, there is a strong chance the Shas party, which has even more seats than UTJ, will also leave, depriving Netanyahu of his majority. Then Mr. Netanyahu would lose a bill to dissolve the Knesset, Israel's parliament, which would prompt elections that would have to take place in October.
Military service is mandatory for all Jewish Israelis. Israel's military says it is facing a manpower shortage, and many Israelis feel their children take on an unfair burden, while the ultra-Orthodox stay away from military service to dedicate themselves to religious study.
They also view the military as the sort of place where they're very likely for their young men to leave the ultra-Orthodox strict way of life, because in the military, you rub shoulders with people from all different backgrounds. Israel's military also has a large number of women serving in it. All of these factors are things that rabbinical leadership think fuels the young ultra-Orthodox men that do serve to leave. And also, perhaps most interestingly of all, the ultra-Orthodox have a long history of being non-Zionist in Israel. Some are actively anti-Zionist, some are non-Zionist, and a small but increasing number do describe themselves as Zionist. This history of non-Zionism comes from the religious belief that only God can create the state of Israel, whereas the current state of Israel was created by secular forces. In real terms, though, the ultra-Orthodox have kept their presence in Israel because it is convenient. They get subsidies, they get a easy place to live their religious life, even though you won't necessarily hear them expressing outright nationalist support for Israel. If elections are called, it's likely that issues that are capturing Israeli society, like the fate of the hostages, will be key election issues. Much of that movement believes that ending the war through a ceasefire deal is the best way to get all of the hostages home. Therefore, an election in which Mr. Netanyahu loses, Netanyahu has proven very reluctant to get such a deal, could quite possibly lead to the end of the war. But it is far too early to say that this is going to happen.
Iran is rejecting a recent nuclear deal proposal from the Trump administration. Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said on Wednesday a U.S. proposal for a nuclear deal was against Tehran's national interest. The U.S. wants Iran to cease enriching uranium under a possible new deal. But Tehran says its program is for civilian purposes and it has the right to continue. 5 rounds of talks between Iran and the U.S. have taken place since April. The U.S. has submitted a proposal, but Iran has yet to formally respond. U.S. officials have said that Iran could produce weapons-grade uranium in less than 2 weeks if it chose to. Media reports say the U.S. proposal also suggests the creation of a regional consortium to produce nuclear power, something that had been floated during negotiations for the deal reached in 2015. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the proposal submitted through mediator Oman has, quote, many ambiguities and questions, unquote. He said Tehran would formally respond soon. That's all for this morning's headlines. We'll be off for Eid al-Adha and back on Tuesday morning, but you can catch up on the latest from the National's podcasts wherever you stream and follow our continued coverage at our site. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.